Mastering ultimate tempos and the theory behind ultimates is one of the defining factors between a good and a great player. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly when and how to use your ultimate to dominate fights. There are two primary forms of ultimates in Marvel Rivals: open and closed ultimates. Open ultimates refer to ultimates that are best used in open spaces and work best at separating enemy teams, cutting off resources, and forcing enemies to scatter. Closed ultimates work best in closed spaces like chokes, rooms, or enemies isolated from the rest of their team. On screen are graphics of every character in the game as of the recording of this video and their ultimate type. Feel free to pause the video if needed. The purpose of these categories is to help you more easily get a feel for how these ultimates should be used and their strengths or weaknesses. For example, an ultimate like the Things works best in a small room or space where enemies are somewhat trapped, allowing multiple enemies to be hit by the attack, whereas an ultimate like Hawkeye's works best in open space, where enemies cannot take cover or are forced into uncomfortable positioning. As always, I'm not going to explain something to you without showing you an example, so let's talk about how we can identify ultimate tempo in game. Ultimate tempo is the speed in which you use your ultimate and how that controls the pace of the game. There are three types of ultimate tempo: fast, slow, and trade. Fast tempo is a tempo in which you see the enemy team and immediately use your ultimate. This tempo is great for pressuring the enemy team and forcing them to use cooldowns, waste resources, and securing early kills in a team fight. You see fast tempo very frequently on domination maps where ultimates can carry over from round to round, allowing players to use their ultimate in the first fight at the beginning of a round. Ultimates that are common examples of fast tempo are Rocket Raccoon, Punisher, Groot, Moon Knight, and Wolverine. Trade tempo is when you see the enemy team ult, you respond with your own. The best example of trade tempo is a Magneto ultimate to counter support ultimates like Cloak and Dagger or Invisible Woman, or even Luna Snow's ultimate to trade with a Spider-Man ultimate. Slow tempo is when you kite out of a fight, reposition, and then use your ultimate once your team has gained some sort of positional or situational advantage. An example of this would be something like Captain America's Freedom Charge being used as a tool to gather a team together and sustain a team after backing out of a fight, or using Luna Snow's ultimate after disengaging. Fast tempo means that you are trying to get as much value as quickly as possible before the enemy team has any time to react. This strategy beats trade tempo because fast tempo just does not give trade enough time to react or decide quickly on what ultimates or abilities to use. For example, if Punisher and Rocket ult immediately, the opposing Luna Snow can trade with her ultimate. Because of the speed and aggression of fast tempo, Luna may be overrun by the sheer damage output of the enemy, or someone else on Luna's team will not have enough time to react, thus dying. Trade tempo beats slow tempo. Trade tempo waits on slow tempo to do something, but still plays more aggressive than slow tempo. So when slow tempo wants to kite out of a fight or back out of a fight, slow tempo sacrifices space. Trade tempo then takes that space, creating more advantageous positioning for themselves. And when slow tempo decides to use their ultimates, trade responds and can continue its onslaught of aggression, with slow tempo having zero positional advantage. Slow tempo beats fast tempo. Fast tempo wants to get value quickly, and by slow tempo exiting the fight and taking natural cover or regrouping, they respond with their own 1 to 2 ultimates, punishing a fast tempo team who is then out of resources. Okay, we've gone over a lot of theory and concepts here, so now you're probably saying, Niall, how is all of this important? Have you ever gotten into a situation where it feels like the enemy team is constantly snowballing you, and as soon as you get out of spawn and walk a bit, you are suddenly in a team fight? That is you playing against a fast tempo. Ever played against a team where whenever you use an ultimate, they have a response? That is trade tempo. Playing against a team that simply corner camps or withdraws from the fight after you use your ultimates? That is slow tempo. Identifying these types of tempos can easily give you clues as to how the enemy team is reacting to your tendencies and give you that extra edge you need to push through. So let's take a look at an example of fast tempo and how fast tempo can be used to completely overrun the enemy team and create that snowball momentum that is so easily able to win games for you in Marvel Rivals. In this situation here, my team is just taking over the first point of the objective here. We're capturing the point and our Thing is looking to already press up and take a little bit of space from the enemy team. The enemy team's going to look to try to press onto the objective, but it ultimately fails here. Our Thing's still looking to hold this positioning over here, and this is what's really important about fast tempo. As soon as you see the enemy team, you ult the enemy team. You get 2 quick picks, and now we take a whole bunch of space for the enemy team. And now let's take a look at the positional advantage our team has against the enemy team. Here in this situation, look at how much space we've gotten just from using 2 ultimates and not even giving the enemy team enough time to react. Everything from this start of the payload all the way around to this corner is now our territory and for us to control. And we get a corner to work with here and another corner to work with here, which are very great positionings for tanks to be able to hold our corners, because if you go behind a corner, you can take cover, get healed up, and regain resources you need to win team fights. Now that we take all of that, we can easily continue to keep up the pressure, keep up the onslaught on the enemy team. Normally on convoy maps, you want to have at least 1 to 2 people probably push the cart or push the objective to make it move a little bit faster. This is why you probably want to have 1 support or maybe a long range DPS over on the cart pushing it, and that way you can have one of your tanks or another tank hold a good position or corner to keep the enemy team from taking that space. So now I want to show you guys an example of both a slow tempo ultimate and a trade tempo ultimate, and how you can see multiple tempos of ultimates in literally just one fight. Here I'm playing Thing, looking to see if I can pressure on the enemy team. I've dropped down my ultimate here on Thing and stunned 2 members of the enemy team, right? Both Spider-Man and Venom, like Spider-Man having his ultimate, Venom close to having his ultimate here, means that basically these 2 are going to come up on these ultimates. Here, the enemy team is looking to back up just a little bit, play, and to look to sustain and stall out this objective as long as possible. Squirrel Girl throws her ultimate on right after I use my ultimate, trading out basically my ultimate with her ultimate. Then we see Spider-Man coming in with his ultimate. You know he's looking to use this, and Rocket Raccoon looks to back up just a little bit out of the space in which he can then be pressured. But look, he's going to be coming up on ultimate as well, with him sitting at around 70% on his ultimate. So this is going to be a slow ultimate coming out from the enemy team in response to the ultimates that we've used. Spider-Man responds with his own ultimate, and this ultimate is coming out at a slow pace because he's died, come out of the fight, looking to back up with the enemy team, regrouping, and then looking to use his ultimate. So this is a slow ultimate from the enemy Spider-Man. Our Rocket looks to use their ultimate. That's a trade ultimate in response to the Spider-Man ultimate. Spider-Man ultimate is out. My team needs to win this fight immediately. I'm going to trade out my ultimate with the Spider-Man ultimate to help my team win. Basically, anticipation of our teammates dying, we can resurrect them back to life. We see the Cloak and Dagger ultimate coming out. This is just another fast ultimate. No other ultimates are being used from our team. Our team pretty much winning this fight. So that's a little bit of a mixture of multiple different types of ultimates, both slow and trade and fast, all being shown here in one fight, and how those ultimates are being used and the purpose of those ultimates. That's the main thing of this video. The main thing of this concept is for you guys to know what are the intentions of the ultimate being used by the enemy team, how they want to use their ultimates, and how you should respond by the different methods of countering tempos that I explained earlier in the video. Another positioning that's equally as good is being able to hold down choke points. So really in this sort of positioning, where a Thing should be doing is that he should be actually either playing this corner right here, this corner, or even better than that would probably end up being this choke point right here, where these 2 lines kind of meet up. Holding this choke point here and playing all the way far up here would force this Penny Parker and this Invisible Woman to play much further back over here, because they are afraid of being able to fight the team up here and having to take the space by themselves, which just makes it a lot more easier for our Punisher to pump in damage into this choke, and for me on Squirrel Girl to pump damage into this choke. So that's a little bit on fast tempo and positioning and how you want to be able to play fast tempo. Fast tempo, a lot of it, like I said, is being able to, when you see the enemy team, use ultimates, overrun them, make them burn resources as quickly as possible, and use your resources to force them into bad positioning and hold that positioning you gained from the enemy team. Since you made this far in the video, you might as well hit that subscribe button. Join the Discord server linked in the description to get one-on-one Marvel Rivals coaching. I also stream on Twitch. You can find that below. My name is Niall, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.